Okay, would you please stand and join me for the flag salute, and then please remain standing for the invocation. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bless us, Lord, as we gather today for this freeholder meeting. Guide our minds and our hearts so we may work together for the good of our community. Help us to be generous in our outlook, courageous in the face of difficulty, and wise in our decisions. Amen. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, this is to announce that adequate notice of this meeting has been provided. Also pursuant to the 2015 bylaws, rules, and regulations of the Board of Chosen Freeholders of the County of Burlington, time shall be set aside on the agenda for the receipt of public comments. Public comments will be received with respect to agenda items prior to board consideration of resolutions to be adopted. An additional opportunity for public comment will occur later in the meeting. Public comment shall be limited to 5 minutes per speaker. Unused time may not be transferred to another speaker. Persons may speak once per public comment period. I direct the deputy clerk to enter into the minutes of this meeting, this public announcement, and the advance written notice of this meeting. Freeholder Bellegarde? Here. Freeholder Donnelly?
Here.
Freeholder Gargano is absent. Freeholder Schwartz?
Here.
And Director O'Brien?
Here. All right, at this point, I'll be looking for a motion for approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of August 12th, 2015.
So.
Motion by Freeholder Donnelly.
Second.
Second by Freeholder Schwartz. Any questions? Any additions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The minutes are approved. At this point, I'll be looking for a approval of the minutes of the conference meeting of July 8th, 2015. Okay, motion by Freeholder Donnelly. Second. Second by Freeholder Bellegarde. Any questions? Any additions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The minutes are approved. At this point, I'd like to take a moment to provide our residents with an update on the current status of the Centerton Road Bridge. Originally built in the early 1900s, this bridge has been maintained by the county for over 100 years. In the last 5 years, we've undertaken significant repairs to the bridge, including a deck improvement project that residents will remember had the bridge closed for several months in 2010. In April of this year, our county engineer's office undertook a periodic inspection of the bridge and determined that it was no longer safe for vehicular traffic. I know that all my fellow freeholders would agree that safety of our residents is paramount. Therefore, we immediately closed the bridge and instructed our engineer to conduct a full inspection of the bridge and return with options and costs for these options. While our professionals are completing their analysis to provide those options at this time, initial estimates indicate the cost of repairing the bridge for sustained vehicular traffic will be at least $10 to $15 million. To put this in perspective, the county typically spends an average of $15 million a year to maintain all of our roads and bridges. That is $15 million with 364 bridges, 700 culverts, 243 traffic control devices, and over 500 miles of roads throughout our county. This critically important task of maintaining our transportation infrastructure is made all the more difficult at the local level, given the inability of politicians in Trenton to adequately support the nearly bankrupt Transportation Trust Fund. Just last year, Deputy Director Gargano stood with Senate President Steve Sweeney and Assemblyman Troy Singleton and they stood in front of the Centerton Road Bridge and discussed the need for a dedicated funding source for our transportation needs. And yet, still no remedy has been found, and the clock is ticking. Now more than ever, the Centerton Road Bridge is a testament to the need for such funding from the state and federal level. No one wants to see this historically significant bridge closed. As someone who used it regularly myself when I lived in Willingboro and when I also lived in West Hampton, I understand that while it's certainly redundant given the close proximity of Route 295, it has served as a convenient alternative or shortcut for residents who live in the immediate area. Still, the reality is that a $15 million project for a redundant bridge would bust our budget. It should be noted that the New Jersey Association of Counties reports that local aid from the state's Transportation Capital Program used to help fund projects such as this one has decreased by over 56%. This is despite the fact that county and municipal roads and bridges carry an estimated 53% of the state's overall traffic, yet inequitably receive only 12% of funding under the state's annual $1.6 billion transportation program. So tonight, I'm calling on the state legislature to come together, as we do here in Burlington County, and find a permanent source of funding for the Transportation Trust Fund. I hope that my colleagues and our residents will join me and that our leaders in Trenton will hear us loud and clear. Thank you. Okay, at this point we'll move on to public comment on agenda items. At this point in the meeting, public comment is limited to items on tonight's agenda. Anyone who wishes to speak on any other topic will have a chance at the public comments section later in the meeting. So do we have any public comments on the agenda items? I have a list here, and I'm going to go through this list first, and then make sure, did you get a chance to sign in?
No, but I'll
Okay,
wait.
then I will put you in.
Hurry.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bracy. Okay, Lori Howard.
Question, please. Question,
Yes,
is what you just addressed, is that part of the agenda?
the Centerton Road Bridge
Yeah.
is not on the agenda tonight.
Okay.
That would be later in the
Thank you.
meeting. Okay. So Lori Howard.
I have comments on the Centerton Bridge.
Okay, so that would be for later. Luis Lopez.
My name's Luis Lopez, I'm a Mahali resident, and I'm glad to see that the new look, and I also want to thanks on behalf of my mom to Joanna Choice and Boycott for a great festival from Mahali. It was a month ago, but I want to say thank you again. She appreciated, the full picture. I have 6 agenda items and I'd like to discuss.
Okay.
The first one is G3. You'll clarify that for me?
Okay, G3 is to, it's a resolution to set the public hearing date for a bond ordinance. And it concerns improvements and renovations at Rowan College in Burlington County. So we will be having a meeting at the hearing at the next meeting with regard to this bond. Now, do you need more information about the bond itself?
My question about that, the future status of Burlington campus, is that going to be moved or is that going to still be there?
Well, there's a transition going on from Pemberton to the Mount Laurel campus.
There's going to be any loss of staff or will be any loss of jobs?
No.
Okay, my second one is resolution G5.
G5?
Yep.
Okay, that's with regard to the landfill. It's an additional landfill cell that needs to be constructed, and that's primarily what this is for. Also deals with single stream recycling, replacement of trucks.
And G16,
That is the Youth Services Advisory Council. I'd like to have Anna Pianza speak to that, so she can give some more of a description than what's in here with regard to that resolution.
Absolutely.
Did you hear that, Anna?
This is, we are submitting a request to the Juvenile Justice Commission for continuing some services that have been funded and planned through our Juvenile Detention Alternative Initiative to help reduce the use of detention for delinquent behavior and prevent delinquency, working with folks in probation to provide enhanced services to youth who are involved among some other community activities.
and the last two, it'll be 38 and 39.
I'm going to take that up later. This is a program that we discussed last week in conference that provides preventative dental services for our young folks through our Department of Health. This is a no-cost program to the county. G39 is an agreement with Dr. Peterson, an infectious disease physician, for the proposal entitled Medical Director, Clinic Physicians, and Medical Professions for Burlington County Health Department. It's pretty self-explanatory. Who's here from Health? Can't see. Okay, hi Holly. Good.
Dr. Peterson serves as our medical director for the health department. He is our consultant. Anytime we have complex medical issues, any of the communicable diseases in the county, we go to him for advice and guidance.
And my last one is, what's the status of the front of the building, the project?
You can do that at the end.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Charlotte Fruman. Later.
The three of us later.
And Joss Jackson. Okay, later. And Mary Jane Green.
Later.
Later. Okay. And we have Gil Gay and Scott.
Later.
Rick Yates.
Later.
Janet Curran.
Later.
Chris Parenti.
I'll wait for public comment.
I'll go now.
Okay, you're next. Mr. Bracy.
Oh. Good evening. Paul Bracy. I'd like to address, first of all, I'd like to commend Freeholders, particularly through the latitude you're providing your Department of Human Services. The programs that you're developing are innovative, and I think through your continued support are going to have a very positive impact. What impresses me most is these are things I've been talking about, as you know, for about the last 3 to 5 years, and you see the correlation between utilizing social services folks that really understand and know what they can do, coupled with probation, which is most impressive. The only thing I'd like to know in reference to G14, 15, 16, and Anna's back there, I'll speak directly to her, of the programs, the wonderful programs that you're already implementing now, and Freeholders are going to continue to provide you with this opportunity to do more. What specific programs are targeting our youth that have been identified from gang recruiting communities, specifically Mount Holly, Browns Mills, Pemberton, Burlington City, Willingboro, Beverly, and Palmyra? What programs targeting those youth 9 to 15 does Human Services have now, or do you foresee within the next 3 months? Please.
It's up to you.
Mr. Bracy, you need to address us,
Oh, I'm sorry.
and then we
This
can
was
bring
in
in,
reference to that.
you need to be recorded on the microphone there.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And then we can ask Ms. Pianza to answer questions.
Okay.
You know, with some of the
Can I
services
get a
that are being.
response to that?
Yes.
Okay.
You as to the services that are being provided to what age group?
Specifically targeting youth that are being recruited for gangs. 5 Burlington County communities. They've already been noted. Age ranges specifically 9 to 15.
Why don't you tell us a bit about what you believe the problems are?
You already know. I've had that communication with you easily over the last 3 to 5 years. I've had wonderful communication with Anna. I'm just listening for some
she's
feedback.
Fabulous. I'm sure she can tell us some of the current programs that are going on with regard to that.
Please. Anna, thank you.
And it's not necessarily entirely specific to these agenda items. Some of these Youth Services Advisory Council dollars are utilized for prevention programming in targeting certain communities. Maple Shade is one of the communities that's on the agenda today for middle school programming at the high school in partnership with the local law enforcement officers.
You're also doing something in Burlington City as well.
We have developed one-stop youth employment centers targeting somewhat of the older youth, but very much working in partnership with the middle schools and with the community providers who are working with those folks so that there's a transition into readiness for employment. We just this morning had a follow-up youth symposium in partnership with Rowan College of Burlington College, which was Rowan College of Burlington County, which was a targeting career exploration in some of the 7 talent development network areas. So we recruited folks who were participating in those programs, and that was targeting 9th and 10th graders. Our prevention activities, again, involve some mentoring programs in the middle school. The drop-in centers, the one-stop centers, are located now and operational on High Street in Burlington City through Resources for Independent Living.
Absolutely.
Through the provider Hamilton McCoy at the Kennedy Center in
This has all been
Williamsboro,
done within about a year,
and
hasn't it?
through Faith in Action in Pemberton at the Nesbitt Center there. So we have community-based programs that are targeting these youth, and all the providers and the partners who are planning those are working closely with the sheriff's office. The sheriff has provided mentoring for folks who are disposed in partnership with us through these efforts. Equestrian programming for kids who...
And this has all been done within a year and a half, right?
Some of the
Basically.
Youth Services Advisory Council programs have been in place for quite a number of years.
Well, these
the
new innovative
coordination
programs.
with the new employment and training services, that's happened since we brought youth services under
Right.
one umbrella
Thank you.
last year.
This is great, but the one population we're missing is the most difficult to deal with. That's the youth that are going to become involved in gang-related activities, and this is real. In Willingboro this summer, there have been already 2 related deaths through drive-by shootings. I attended the funerals of 2 youth that I taught that are dead because of drive-by shootings. I have pleaded with this board for almost 5 years for this program, to the point now where I have taken $10,000 out of my pocket and I'm funding one young man from Burlington City who is 13, whose mother moved him from Camden because of the gang-related issues, and her better best at this point is Stone Villa. And if you know anything about Burlington, Stone Villa, Stacy Court, Dunbar Homes in New Yorkshire are heavy activity areas. This program is brilliant. You have Department of Human Services workers that really want to make a difference. I've already proved my merit, and I'm still begging for a piece of the pie so we can make a difference. Now here's where I'm at. I'm not begging you or anyone anymore. I took out a personal loan. And I will show you everything I've begged for over the last 5 years through the creation of a New Jersey State champion in 4 years, where I transform a banger into a champion. And what I am hoping is this board of chosen freeholders separates who the person is and functions on the ideas when he is proven and golden, in spite of whatever mannerisms I may bring to the table. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gracie. Okay. Is there anyone else for public comment on agenda items? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to our resolutions. I'd like to make a motion that we approve resolutions G1 through G19 by unanimous consent.
Second.
Okay, motion by O'Brien, second by Freeholder Donnelly. Questions?
I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Starting on G1 with the payment of bills.
Okay.
Mr. Troy, are you ready?
I am.
Okay, on page 2, there's a bill for Adams, Raymond, and Hagan, $8,957 for engineering design. Can you tell me what that's for?
Yes, Freeholder, that's engineering services that were done on Bridge Fork Land Road and Creek.
Okay. On page 4, with regard to the Alice Paul Institute, I need to recuse myself. A question on page 8, the Bergen Regional Medical Center. It's not a huge amount, $1,226.48, but I was just wondering what that is for.
Freeholder, this actually came through legal. It has to do with the maintenance of a client, Kendall.
It's probably something out of the adjuster's office, but.
Oh, okay.
It is.
All right,
I
great.
mean, I have the name, but I'd rather.
No, I don't want to know the name. That explains,
It's
that's
almost
fine.
certainly an adjuster's bill.
Okay, great. Do you have the legal bills for me for Parker McKay?
I do.
Excellent. And that's all I have on the bills. I do have a question though on G10 as well. If you're ready for me to move on.
Okay, yes.
So,
Okay,
yeah.
contracts.
Yeah, so, excuse me. With regard to this, it looks like we are rescinding a contract that was awarded for the pilot system upgrade for exterior live fire simulators. So how does that work now that we are rescinding it? I guess the contract hasn't been put into motion, or?
I have this, correct, yes?
Yes, if you could, please.
Basically what happened is, we're dealing with a company called Firebass Global, and they believe that our specs as written would not allow for satisfactory performance of the system. And it had to do with the diameter of the pipes and whatnot. And considering that they are an expert in the field, we decided to step back, take a look at our specs one more time, and see if they need to be revised or whether we hit it the first time.
Oh,
So
okay.
until we do that, we decided to pull back on it.
And then will we just have to go out again?
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then I did actually have a question on the second one too. Are we actually awarding to each of these? We are awarding to each of them? Okay.
The dollars amount is supposed to.
Yeah. Yeah. There were just so many of them. I wasn't sure that we were hitting all of them or none of them
We
or
are.
something in
It's
between.
just various janitorial items and supplies.
Great. All right. That is all that I have on those agenda items.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. Are there any other questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions?
I just have to recuse myself from that vote, also from Alice Paul, as I'm a member of Alice Paul.
Okay, so abstentions as noted. We'll be moving on to Freeholder Donnelly.
Thank you, Director. At this time, I would move for unanimous consent of resolution items number G20 through G39 on behalf of myself and Freeholder Gargano.
Motion by Freeholder Donnelly, second by
Second.
Freeholder Billgard. Any questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Ayes have it. Okay, this time, we'll entertain questions from the press. Any questions from the press? Okay. So we'll move on to public comment. At this time, those who wish to speak, it's not limited to the agenda items. I have a list here, so I'll go through that list. Now, the first one we have is Lori Howard.
Good evening. Thank you for, that was my first time coming to a meeting, so I'm actually glad to see how things work. I appreciate your comments about the Transportation Trust Fund in Trenton. I do understand that's an issue, and I have been working also to let people know. I have a Facebook page to let them know about what's occurring with that. But I'm here basically because I want to support further discussion of the plans for the Centerton Bridge. I know that it is used by many in the community and the impact may have been greater than you actually have realized. To learn that there's no funding to rebuild this bridge is definitely pretty shocking to me, being that I have been in the community. I grew up in Willingboro, I've been here since I was 2 years old, so it's about 40 years. I knew that bridge would eventually need to be rebuilt and repaired. So I'm really concerned that there has been no planning to do so for that, that the money is not there. It's been structurally deficient since 2010, and I also have been reviewing some of the things about capital projects that have been placed in the Transportation Improvement Plan. I've seen that Hanover Street Bridge has been there as well as Smithville Bridge, but I have not seen anything regarding the Centerton Bridge in there. 295 is not the best alternative for a lot of people. It may seem redundant to some, or 5 to 10 minutes is not a big deal, but there's 14,000 people that are traveling over that bridge, and I think there need to be considered. I also know that by the fact that all the traffic will be going to 295, the bridge on 295 is going to be needing some repair as well. So when that does occur, where are people supposed to go? They don't have an alternate such as the Centerton Bridge. Okay, so I know in Burlington County we have more than 30 bridges that are structurally deficient, so I would like the freeholders to consider that, and how, I just would hate that we have to keep closing bridges because we don't have the money. Like, what can we do in our planning to address that? But more so, why wasn't the Centerton Bridge thought of as something that needed to be repaired? I've heard various comments at 295 that was improved because of the anticipation of the bridge being closed, but I never knew that the bridge was anticipated to be closed until I found out that people started saying that 295 was increased due to an impending closure. So these are just a lot of questions that I have. I have been doing research, but one of the other things I know that there was recently a transportation improvement plan, and again I saw Hanover Street Bridge and Smithville Bridge listed in there, and I really just don't understand why the Centerton Bridge, knowing that it is older and a lot of people use that bridge, it has never been in the planning for something that needs to be repaired. So I just wanted to share those concerns here. You know, we have a lot of people on my Facebook page now. We have about 1,000 people that are concerned about this. And I really think input from the community is really needed before any decisions are made in terms of turning it into a walking bridge, bike path, etc. Because there's nowhere to go. And then there's additional costs regarding building a parking lot for people. You're going to have staffing for people to maintain that bridge, and that includes the staffing, you know, their health and benefits, pension costs, etc. So I know this bridge, there's not money right now, but really my main thing is like, why isn't there money and why wasn't there planning not done before 2015 to address that? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll move on to Charlotte Roman.
Hello, I'll repeat my name, Charlotte Froman, F-R-O-M-A-N. 51-year resident of Willingboro, New Jersey. Came because it is such a wonderful community and continues to be so, no matter how much people malign it. I'm also president of Willingboro Neighborhood Watch, which I humbly represent. The bridge means more than just a little bit to people. Just a little bit. Not just a little bit, rather, but a whole lot. It is extremely inconvenient, and I do not like going on 295 to get around a bridge and then start over again. Most of our medical appointments are in the Morristown area, and it's often difficult for us to get to it the extra time that it takes. Not difficult, but extra time. I just don't like getting on 295 for that short a distance, and it probably takes twice the amount of time. 130, yeah, but it takes me longer to get out to 130 from our section of town than it would go over to Centerton Bridge. I just feel that it is absolutely needed. If you want it for a walking bridge or a bicycle bridge, where are you going to park the people? There's a cemetery on one side, houses on the other. What, do you want to put them out on the creek? I don't quite get it. It is absolutely essential that we have that bridge back. It is an absolutely essential artery for people not from Willingboro going the other way, but the reverse also. If you need people to step up and go with you to wherever you have to go, I'm in line, and so are many of our people. Neighborhood Watch has approximately 500 members. You need 500 people, I'll get them for you. Well, maybe not 500, but 10, not sure. But I do want to say thank you for the beautiful parks that you put in. What you've done with the parks and the open spaces is just nothing short of beautiful. I was to the one over on Bridge, is that Pennington, I think it is?
That's Delanco.
Yes, thank you. That is just gorgeous. And as much as you do for us with opening spaces, see what you can do about keeping the bridge open. We need it. That's all there is to it. We just simply need it. Nice seeing you, Joanne. Again, we met in Timbuktu. We know what's going on. We understand the finances. But I also know that there is always money to be found. Always money to be found. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome very much.
Please listen,
Jackson.
please listen.
Is it Josh Jackson?
Good evening, my name is Jocelyn Jackson from Willingboro. I work in Mount Laurel, and I have taken the Senator Bridge for many years, and now it's a total nightmare, depending on what time you get home and when you go home. And you try to get on 295 North exit, it's horrendous. I mean, you're stuck there, people will not let you go through, it's like a bunch of ants gathering all together, and you're stuck. It's a total nightmare. The same in the morning, you have a lot of traffic, and it's just not pleasant. You have to go all the way around. And yes, the bridge was built in 1903. And why has it taken so long for somebody to finally say, we need to do something with the bridge? When in fact, everybody knew that sooner or later, something was going to have to be done with the bridge. Many times I have called the county when we had such potholes on the bridge that you could see through. And sometimes I would look for a sign for something to be done, and nothing was done until a few months later. And then all of a sudden we're told, we have to cross a bridge, it's not safe. I think a lot of us could have told you that a long time ago. And now we say, okay, we're going to make it a walking or bicycle bridge. You live in Willingboro, what are we going to do? We're just going to go park our car somewhere and say, okay, we're going to go walk across the bridge or ride our bicycle. And for what? We have parks we can go to. Same with the people in Morristown and Mount Laurel. Why would they want to go across the bridge? You want to go fishing in all of the places that you can go fishing. There has got to be a way to find the money. I don't know. And I understand the financial issues. I'm an accountant, so I know figures. But there has got to be a way. There is always a way for other things. Find a way. That's all I'm asking for. Make it easier for all of us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. We have Mary Jane.
Yes.
Brewer.
Thank you so much. My name is Mary Jane Breen. I'm a 41-year resident of Willingboro, New Jersey. And several of my neighbors, friends, and members of Neighborhood Watch have reported to me that they avoid 295, and so they don't use the businesses that they frequented, such as Carlucci's and Wegmans and the Y in Mount Laurel, Rancocas Woods. They don't go there simply because they will not travel on 295. As was mentioned before, at times it's very dangerous and people are threatened by the traffic on 295. And if you're getting off at Rancocas or Delran and you're trying to get into the left lane to continue on Centerton Road to head towards the Y or Costco's or Wegmans or Virtua, it's frequently a nightmare if it's during a high traffic time. So people are avoiding that for the fear of getting into an accident or having a problem. I wonder, has the Board of Freeholders checked out the impact on businesses, whether the closure of the Centerton Bridge has caused any change in the revenues of any of the businesses locally? My other thing, if I can mention another thing, is there's a little red schoolhouse in Willingboro that is deteriorating, and several members of Willingboro have been asking, can the schoolhouse be looked at? And because it is a historic site, and checked out to see why it has not been on anyone's list for maintaining it and repairing it, so that our culture from Burlington County and educationally speaking, it's a basis of the education system in Burlington County. So if you would look into the Little Red Schoolhouse, I would appreciate it.
What street is that?
It's on Dr. Reverend Martin Luther King Drive, the old Salem Road, which it should be. Thank you.
Is that right near the municipal building there?
It is.
Yeah.
It's in front of, or adjacent to the country. Thank you.
Yeah, is that,
Does
you
the
know,
county own this?
is it owned by the municipality?
We don't know.
Oh, I don't think the county.
Mary Pat, we don't have title to this, do we?
No, we
It's
do.
owned by the township. It's owned by the township of Willingboro.
This is owned by the township. Owned by the township.
All right, well, thank you very much. Gil, Gay, and Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't understand the whining about inconvenience. I've used that bridge, I've commuted over that bridge every weekday, morning and evening for over 35 years. And now I have to take a tiny detour. What to do? I mean, I don't think it's a major hassle. I don't find it to be inconvenient. There's a Burlington County Times editorial that was written last Friday that mentioned public safety issues. I don't understand that either, because West Hampton and Willingboro would be first two responders to the area north of the bridge, and Masonville would be on the south side. And on the south side of the bridge, to get to the hospital, it's actually be quicker up to 95, Rancocas Road, the IRIC, or rather Rancocas Road to Mount Holly. So I don't understand that comment either. As it stands, the bridge is outdated and unsafe. It was designed for donkey carts, not 14,000 cars a day. It's too narrow. For the way people drive today and the type of vehicles they drive, I would find myself face to face oftentimes with a pickup truck or large SUV, and it's kind of scary because these people don't slow down. They're 15-mile-an-hour speed limit signs, but nobody respects that. They drive much faster than that. As a matter of fact, in 1996, while I was crossing the bridge, a car coming the other way, much too fast, lost control, and hit me head-on, destroyed my car. I sat there, I was stopped, I watched it happen, I had nowhere to go. And repairing the bridge isn't going to eliminate those kind of dangers. I've seen amazingly pedestrians and people on bicycles crossing the bridge with traffic, extremely dangerous, and I don't see how you could eliminate that. There's another benefit that I would like to bring up that you may not be aware of. Every township has residential streets ultimately become major cut-throughs. And Rancocas Village has been a major cut-through forever between Burlington and Mount Laurel. And as development has taken place on both sides over the years, it's gotten progressively worse. Main Street is 25 miles an hour speed limit. It's no passing. There are no sidewalks. So kids riding bikes, people walking are in danger when people drive much faster than the 25 mile an hour speed limit. And more recently, we've had an epidemic where people are passing those that are trying to do the speed limit. I mean, that's crazy. So the last thing I would like to say is that this bridge is historically significant for the area, and I'm happy to hear some discussion about pedestrian use, alternate use of pedestrians or bikes, rather than tearing it down. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Rick Yates.
Thank you. First, I wanted to say, in all my life, I never thought I'd see the day where it would be cheaper to go across the Betsy Ross Bridge than go across one of the Burlington County Bridge Commission bridges when you factor in the cost of gas and time to cross those bridges. Now, the reason I'm addressing you guys is the commissioners, we don't vote for them. You guys appointed them. There's problems with that commission. I went to both hearings, public hearings. I think it was 2 weeks ago, Monday, Tuesday. Wednesday, they had the vote. Not one comment was discussed before they voted to spend over $110 million. It was like none of us mattered. It was already decided. Why even have the hearings if we don't count? A lot of people during those hearings complained about safety. They complained that these bridges, which aren't much younger than the Centerton Road Bridge, is not built to handle the trucks of today. They were designed 80 years ago. They're complaining that the damage to the bridges are being caused by the trucks, not the motorists. They're particularly scared of crossing the Burlington-Bristol Bridge. It's too narrow for those big trucks. Bridge Commission didn't discuss any of that. Some people, including me and the AAA, complained about the burden of doubling tolls overnight. I mean, you're talking $40, $80 a month. Bridge Commission didn't care. So at this point, I have no faith in your commission. I don't even know why this county runs toll bridges. We have the Delaware River Port Authority down the street. They recently voted to increase their tolls by a quarter, and then the public outcry, they put it off for 2 years. Our Bridge Commission, overnight, doubles it. So I trust the Delaware River Port Authority. I think they know what they're doing. This county can do a lot of things, but this county is not a county for running toll roads. No other county in the state does that. I think there's only one other toll bridge in this whole state of New Jersey. So why are we running toll bridges? Pennsylvania has said in the past they won't allow us to build a bridge on their side until we sell our bridges to the Delaware River Port Authority. They don't want this county building bridges over their side of the river. So sooner or later, we're going to have to get rid of these bridges. I mean, time is ticking, 80 years old. So what I'm going to suggest is, why not sell these bridges today to the Delaware River Port Authority? I don't know how many millions we'll get, but I know one thing. The Centerton Road Bridge can be replaced with the money that you saw get from selling the Tacoma Mara Bridge, and the other 10 bridges that are in trouble. I mean, that's cash in, it's a savings fund. Use the money now and get us our bridge, our Centerton Road, and frankly, the Delaware River Port Authority can't do a worse job than what we're seeing right now. At least they listen to the people. Thank you.
Next we have Janet Curran.
Hi, Janet Curran. At your last meeting, Freeholders meeting, I spoke to you about roads and bridges, environment, a race for open space and things that we are losing rapidly. But I'm here tonight with the Centerton Bridge. It has a lot of meaning, a lot of history. It's very sad to hear people say that they do not like using 295, or if you use the New Jersey Turnpike or any of our major highways. Just traveling down Rancocas Road is a nightmare. The Centerton Bridge, when it was built, it was that you could walk across it, you could ride across it. People used to fish there. And it was not built for what it's being used for today. The more developments that come in, and the people are using it for a shortcut, and yes, 295 is dangerous, but every county road or even through a development, it's a danger. If you happen to live on a curb, you don't have a sidewalk, you're in trouble. But the Centerton Bridge was meant for one thing, from A to B, but now it's being used by hundreds of people a day. Some are leery of using 295, but I stopped using the Centerton Bridge 10 years ago and going to different places. I do go down there occasionally just for memories of growing up in the late 40s and early 50s, and it was built for a purpose, but no longer is needed for what it once was. And I'm hoping the county will realize that it can be connected somehow for what we've done with our parks. We have Henry Rollins' property. There's many things that can be done. Riding a bicycle today anywhere is a danger, unless you take your bikes into the parks and ride them, or you find a safe place to ride them. You certainly can't ride your bike on Rancocas Road anymore. Many accidents are on Bridge and Rancocas Road, Springside Road, many backup traffic with the bridge when it was open. So it's really being used as a shortcut, or because people were afraid to use 295. And I understand that, but I, again, stopped using the bridge 10 years ago when I knew how bad it was, and I would be there to watch them open it. And I made comments 10 years ago to the county freeholders about the Centerton Bridge.
Thank you. Okay, next we have Chris Parente.
I'm going to pass.
Okay.
How do we answer this? Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Please. My name is Bruce Trusky. I didn't know you had to sign up.
Okay.
You don't have to.
No.
You don't have to.
No. You can, would you like to speak?
Okay.
Because it's the public portion now. And I'm sorry, I didn't get your name
Bruce Trusky.
and your township?
Willingboro. I've been a Willingboro resident for 37 years. I've taken that bridge thousands of times in that period. 295 does not scare me. What scares me is getting off at 295. I'm a very aggressive driver, so I really don't worry about it. But unless the police stop these people, no, I'm serious. Unless these people stop these people going through the yield signs, nobody stops. Okay, the road rage, giving the middle finger to people, blowing their horns at them, you're going to end up with a massive crash. Okay, or somebody getting shot. And in today's society, people pulling guns out is becoming very common. So you have to either get cops up there to stop people from going through the yield signs. I don't know how to prevent that.
This is coming off of 295, you're saying?
Either way, getting on both ways, getting off both ways. You come off, you got to go through 4 lanes of traffic to get over here, to go down the street, going towards the shopping mall. You know, we need that bridge. And the amount of traffic is just horrendous. And believe me, I'm not blaming the police for doing this, because I don't know how they'd even stop it. You know, how do you ticket everybody that goes through those yield signs? You can't, but I'll tell you what, I grew up in West Hartford, Connecticut, and Route 84 has an exit that goes into West Hartford Center. And the police camped there for 2 weeks. and it stopped people from going through the yield signs. Okay, and once they realized they were gonna get a ticket and it was points, it stopped. But I don't know how you're gonna stop this unless you open that bridge. Before you see a massive collision, or like I said, somebody getting shot because of road rage. Thank you very much.
It's an interesting observation because I was actually trying to get on 295 the other night through there, and there was a tractor trailer that was broken down right at the intersection leading onto it. I mean, people were getting out of their cars, yelling. I mean, there was serious rage going on.
This is
and
we don't
tractor
leave the
trailers don't
house.
go anywhere.
We don't leave the house till after 6:30 at night because of the traffic getting off. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay. Mr. Bracy?
I'd like to commend you with your idea. It's actually what should have been done a long time ago. The idea of using the community to empower your state officials, in turn to empower your federal officials, you're going to get some feedback. But the problem is, we have to be honest and realistic about it. If you have a Republican-controlled governor that has slashed funding for infrastructure, and if you're a Republican-controlled freeholder board, are you going to be as forceful as you need for the will of the people? And that's the long and short of it. I mean, if we're going to be honest, we need to be honest. What you've heard tonight is an honest
Well, isn't there a flip side to that? I
What
mean,
is-
I'm a Democrat, but if you're a
Works
Republican
both
asking a
ways.
Republican
The
governor...
same thing would have happened, the same thing would have happened on a 3-2 side, except there might have been some funding for the bridge. If it was a Democratic-controlled freeholder board. Let's be real about it. My point is, it's time to put political partisanship aside and listen to the will of the people. Now, by conferring with these folks, now you have a group of people that are willing to go to Trenton and lobby for you. The Republican Party has well-paid lobbyists. These are people that want to help you. The other point that's really important to understand is sometimes you need to make improvements. Now, if this bridge is so critical, based on the needs of the people, where they're willing to accept a bond, where they're willing to pay some additional taxes. See, if you have a freeholder board that's always interested in keeping the tax base down, at some point in time, there's going to be hell to pay. It is happening now, and I mean that with respect. The other point I'm trying to make is if you have people in the community that are willing to step forward and say, you know what, we may have to take a few bucks out of our pocket to float a bond, we're willing to do that. Or maybe they're willing to be as forceful as abortion advocates and on both sides of the line are for the various positions. They get heard. This has not been done because for far too long this freeholder board has been politically controlled. When it's all about 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, and interestingly enough, the conversation that gentleman was referring to with the Bridge Commission is not unlike some of the meetings that have happened in this building, in this room. And it's true and you know it. So all I'm simply saying is, first of all, your idea is brilliant. And I do believe members on this board do care about the county. I believe that. And I also believe that if you take time to hear the people and put your political partisanships aside and not focus on what the bottom line is at all times, because what you're going to find out because of what you've done over the past 10 years is pretty soon you're going to be coming to the Burlington County taxpayers and asking for a moderate tax increase. That's a fact. It's going to happen. This is one way of putting some more money back into the budget, although I think your idea is sound. However, you didn't take the time to let the people be heard. So what I'm humbly suggesting is you slow down. You let these committees form. You have an honest, open discussion. If, in fact, the residents of Burlington County are willing to float a bond. Now, you had no problem with open space funding previously as a board. If the County of Burlington is willing to address a bond to go one, widen the Centerton Bridge, and two, repair it at the same time aggressively push more state funding because a Republican-controlled state house has stifled funding. That's a fact. There has been a clamor for infrastructure from the president. Representing your populace means serving them, not simply giving them word of mouth. This is a great opportunity. And there's something else I'd like to address, and it's in reference to, and there's no doubt how I feel about pay-to-play reform. We can agree to that. You know I've been pushing this aggressively for almost 7 years in Burlington County. My problem is if Medford Township could do it when they had a Republican-controlled township council. Oh, please let me finish this one thought. Particularly considering the clamor.
This sentence.
Thank you. Particularly considering the clamor Trump is raising, where he doesn't need 1 red cent to run his campaign. He might even get the nod, imagine that. There is a need to stifle pay-to-play reform. When I look at T&M Associates, and I see the amount that was granted, I just have simply one question. Was that the lowest bid? I'm waiting for an answer. Was that the lowest bid submitted? You know what I'm talking about? Oh, I'm sorry, I stand corrected. It's G33, agreement with TM and Associates in the amount of $99,714 for a multimedia sign for Rowan College of Burlington County College. Almost $100,000 for a sign that's saying, you know what, we partnered with BCC. Almost $100,000 for that. But my question is, were they the lowest bidder?
Brickley's not here. Do you know the answer to that?
I don't know, Joseph, because they could have been on the approved list and they may have been
Freeholder.
qualified.
Were they the lowest bidder?
Bids were not requested.
Oh, bids were not requested.
Mr.
Can I
Bracy, direct your comment to the board.
Sir, but you said bids were not requested?
I don't think he finished answering.
T&M Associates are on a pre-approved list of various disciplines that are approved.
And you go through the list, don't you? Thank you, sir, I understand.
He didn't
Can I
finish
finish my
answering.
statement?
I really don't need the
Can I
answer. Sir, I already know your
Okay,
answer.
thank you.
I already know your answer. I don't need the spin, I already know the answer. All right, my question is this. No.
No, we're done.
No.
Your time is expired.
How much money did TM and Associates donate to Burlington County Republican Party over the last 5 years? And that was a no bid, $100,000 for a spiffy-doo sign. That's amazing. That's your county taxpayers' money, folks. $100,000 for a
Okay,
sign.
there's a gentleman in the back. I can't see.
I didn't sign up because I know the procedure.
Okay, please,
Forward.
we're still in the public portion.
I'd like to go after him if I could. Good evening. My name's Ralph Hagan. I live in Medford, New Jersey, of course. I just heard that at least I thought I heard the fact that the Republican Party controls Trenton, which came as a surprise to me because I thought that the Senate and the Assembly were controlled by Democrats. But anyway, that's not why I wanted to speak tonight. On the Centerton Road Bridge, we taxpayers were aware when we had 295 going to be constructed through the county of Burlington that this was going to be an advance and it would be a positive thing for the taxpayers through the trust fund or whatever money was used by the state for the interstate that went in there. And a lot of these other bridges like the Centerton Road Bridge and other places up and down 295's corridor that we now have that had problems, these problems would be alleviated by 295. And I feel in this case, those problems basically were alleviated by 295. I travel the roads of Burlington County every day. I'm not afraid to ride 295. I'm terrorized to go on that Centerton Bridge. I've been on that bridge when people with wide mirrors shattered their mirrors on the front of my car. That's how tight it is on that bridge. I don't know how anybody thinks that's safe, even if the potholes weren't there. I think the freeholders, regardless of political party or whatever was alluded to in the last comments, I think they owe something to the taxpayers in Burlington County, and it comes to sort of, I guess it's John Stuart Mill, the utilitarian political philosopher a couple centuries ago, who basically stated that it was the responsibility of government to do the greatest good for the greatest number of people. We've heard a few people here, mostly from Willingboro, who have talked about the convenience to them personally of traversing this bridge. I think $15 million to be spent on this bridge is not doing the best thing, if the freeholders go for that, is not doing the best thing for the majority of people in Burlington County, the taxpayers. I don't know what it takes to have 50 people staged to come here and deliver that message. But I can't imagine that the people who aren't here tonight feel that that's spending $15 million on restoration of that bridge when we have a convenient 295 that is doable. You can either get off of Creek Road, Rancocas, Delran exit, or within a couple minutes you can be down Martyr Avenue. I do it every day. I don't know where the big inconvenience is. That's a modern road, 3 lanes there. If you want to see inconvenience, go up North Jersey and see how people have to jump on and off the parkway from one little town to another to go to work. This is a 295 is not an impossibility. So I would ask in conclusion, I would ask the freeholders to consider the greatest good for the greatest number of taxpayers, and definitely to oppose this $15 million expenditure. We already know what that buys in terms of other capital improvements to all the other bridges and infrastructure in Burlington County. Thank you for your time tonight.
Okay, thank you.
Lawrence Ott,
Lawrence,
OTT,
okay.
Mount Laurel, Timbercrest, resident of Wildenboro for 28 years, use that bridge every day. First thing, we need more detour signs. For the soccer tournaments that are going to be up in West Hampton, we got the bridge closed. I got everyone doing U-turns in front of me. Got to put them up. You got one sign and it's on the wrong side of the concrete divider on 295 at Rancocas exit, Rancocas Road exit. Second of all, we all know that the bridge needed work for years. My father in the back, historian here, 85 years old, knows all about 295. The extra lane was only added for truck traffic to alleviate the bridge of the Centerton Bridge. Okay, now I personally seen tractor and trailers driving over it, so I even addressed that to the guys in the county and said, if the tractor and trailers can drive over it, how was the bridge in such dire need of falling down? But they could have damaged it beyond repair. So all we need to do is make sure that we don't have tractor and trailers going over the bridge, and that'll keep it repaired. I think it could be fixed for a lot less money for just the general car traffic that goes over it. I also believe that, we paved the road to the bridge and closed it almost in the same week. And I think out of everybody in this room, no one wants to pay higher taxes, but let's just rotate through the county and close one bridge a month and see how inconvenient it is for everybody else. Okay? If I lived in New Gretna and the bridge in New Gretna was closed, I'd want it fixed too. And if it was $15 million, I would say we'd have to do it, because that's where I live. So basically, I'm sitting here saying, I grew up on both sides of the bridge. I've been under it, over it, jumped off it, fished off it, walked over it, rode my bicycle over it. And I don't think you're going to make a very good pedestrian bridge out of the bridge, because someone's going to fall off of it. You're going to be putting a lot of repairs into that. So I think that's really not feasible. We all know you need to float the bridge out, fix the underside of the bridge, and float the bridge back, and paint it. It hasn't been painted since I've been on this earth. I've never seen it painted. I've never seen one wooden piling driven into it. So thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Luis Lopez?
My first question is, on behalf of Elita Charia, she have a question, come to the meeting, she's 58 years old, and her only question she asked me is, disagree with moving the hospital from Mount Holly, I think, to West Hampton. She doesn't disagree with that, because of way too much on the budget. That's her question. She's disagreeing with that. My question is, what kind of business do you have with Parker McKay? I'm just curious.
What kind of business do we do with them?
Yeah.
They represent us as bond counsel.
Oh, that's it?
I'm sorry?
That's the only purpose?
Bond counsel, yeah. That's
Okay.
right, Kendall?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is there any report of Legionnaires' disease in Burlington County?
There has been no reports of Legionnaire's disease in Burlington County.
Like you see, like a report, across, several other states, air conditioned top of the hospital, not being repaired, that it can be geared to the.
We have no reported Legionnaire's disease in Burlington County.
And
There was, our health department tracks infectious diseases and does a regular, was it a monthly report? And they haven't tracked any Legionnaires. They track all kinds of infections, so you're okay with Legionnaires.
Is there anything else you gotta worry about?
my second question is, what's the status of the repair or the project in front of this building?
It's progressing pretty well. Do I have anybody here from engineering? No, no one's here. I mean, we moved into this side of the building 2 weeks ago. The other side of the building should be completed, Eve, with 209, not 209, the other side of this office area. When should it be completed?
By the fall, end of the year.
End of the year. So it's actually moving ahead of schedule at this point in time.
My second question is, how do we change the program or a SNAP program or a WIC program? Does the state change it or the kind of freeholder?
No, what happens with WIC or SNAP or any social service program, that is governed by the state of New Jersey. We are merely their agents or their fiduciaries in carrying out the in-between work with the residents of Burlington County. But we don't dictate, nor do we have the interest in dictating the restrictions or confines of the program.
So we have to go to the upper government people, right?
It's governed by the state of New Jersey.
Okay. And I wonder what kind of solution can you find for the accident that happened in East Hampton with the kids? Are you going, that's a county road or the municipal road?
Oh, was that the kids with the wagon in
Yeah.
Southampton?
Yeah, we're having an ongoing investigation about that. It was an incredibly tragic accident.
No, my word is, it's owned by Burlington County Freeholder or by the municipality, that road.
It's a county highway.
road.
And once a month, I do ride my bike, to West Hampton, Township meeting, to them. Once a couple of blue moons, I do ride my bike to Costco, taking the bridge. And I see a lot of work thing, but 295, near impossible, no bikes, nothing. Like, and I take Route 38, way too dangerous. I tried it once, it took me near 2 hours to get to Route 38. I took the back way. And one last thing, if they any changing to the agent office since I've been here? Any new program,
There have been personnel changes in aging, just as in every other office in the county. Folks retire, new folks come in. Program changes in terms of Meals on Wheels, our veterans program, our outreach services. There haven't been any significant changes. The one thing we've done as a county government is take a more universal approach to human services. We now operate with one division head or one department head, several divisions across it, so we can get to the needs that people need more quickly. Now, Anna's done a wonderful job along with her staff since she's arrived here of, the concept she brought in was one of triage. let's identify what the need is from folks when they first enter the door, rather than go to 6 disparate agencies to try and get a social service need taken care of. So I think we take credit for it, but Anna's done a Herculean job in improving the department, and specifically aging, which falls under that.
And my last two comments, if there was any comment about the kind of bridge commission, they should go to the director to the freeholder, right? They're the funded people, right?
Yes.
Okay. And like I said, I do record videos, on my YouTube videos. That's thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That's it for the list. Is there anyone else with any public comment? Okay. Seeing none, we'll close the public portion of the meeting and move on to freeholder comment. Freeholder Belgard.
Thank you. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight, for expressing your concerns and thoughts about the bridge. I know we heard a lot of comments on it tonight, and it's really an important part of the process. We have not made a decision about the bridge. We're still waiting to get this report back. So it is really important that you are here expressing your opinions, thoughts, and concerns to us. So thank you for taking the time out of, I'm sure, your busy lives to do that. I did want to ask Director how we are going to approach our state officials. Will we do that by a letter, or can we as a board collectively craft a resolution to send along to the governor and to our state officials?
We'll certainly get a letter together about the situation for sure.
That's great.
And contact our senator and senators and assembly.
Great. And I think, those of you who came this evening with your thoughts and concerns should likewise reach out also to our state and federal officials, because it really, it does become an issue of funding, as you've heard tonight. So, I think our voices resonate when we organize and act collectively. So, but again, thank you for coming out tonight. Just a couple of other comments. I just wanted to say thank you and congratulations to the folks in the county who had a hand in the Underground Railroad Jazz Festival this past weekend. It turned out to be a beautiful day and very well attended. It was really a lovely festival, and really showcased our Underground Railroad Museum that some of you may recall recently moved in the past, 2 years from Burlington City to Smithville Park. It was the first time I had the opportunity to take my 2 young sons there, and I would definitely like to encourage people to go out and check it out, because it's such an important part of our history here in Burlington County. So great opportunity, especially if you have children or other folks that you can expose that to. And then finally, I would just like to recognize that today is Women's Equality Day. I had the opportunity to go over to the Alice Paul Institute in Mount Laurel. For those that don't know, Alice Paul really was at the forefront of the fight for women's suffrage, which is what today celebrates, the passage of the 19th Amendment so that women could have the right to vote. Alice Paul also authored the Equal Rights Amendment, which still has not been ratified in this country. And again, right here, Mount Laurel, New Jersey. So if you ever have the opportunity and have not been to the Alice Paul Institute to see the great work that they continue to do in her name there, I would highly recommend it. And happy Women's Equality Day. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Freeholder. All right, we'll move on to Freeholder Schwartz.
This is a beautiful, beautiful room, and everybody worked really hard to get it together. However, once again, as I have for many, many meetings, I am going to request again that we take these meetings on the road. We have done that in the past. We have not done that, and we need to take these meetings out throughout the county to the various municipalities. So once again, I'm requesting that we take these meetings on the road. Thank you.
Thank you. Freeholder Donnelly.
Thank you, Director. I'd like to echo Freeholder Belgard's sentiments. Thank you for coming. This is a challenging issue. Bridges are health, safety, and welfare. That's the role of government, in my opinion, anyway. It's a difficult spot because the bridge is outmoded. I don't think there's anyone in this room that would deny that that bridge is outmoded. It has its flaws. 295 also has its flaws. That bridge, as someone mentioned, let's widen it. That bridge can't be widened. That's not reality. That bridge would have to be reconstructed. Some have said the county hasn't put any money into that bridge. I'm the only one in this freeholder board that's put money into that bridge. We put $6 million into it in 2010. No, 2009. to redeck that bridge and replate that bridge and repave that bridge. You know, we need to get the report back from the consultant, from the engineer, because none of us up here are engineers and know what the ramifications are. Does the bridge need to be replaced? In all likelihood, that's what would have to happen. The bridge would have to be replaced. I don't think there's a way to just go in there and put another $4, $5, $6 million Band-Aid on this bridge. This board would have to make difficult decisions, which they've been tasked with doing before. But the thing that I keep going back to is we collectively, and we shouldn't, and we have in fact written letters. We met with Senator Sweeney last week. I actually take issue with a comment that was made earlier about the lack of bipartisanship. This board, members of this board met with Senate President Sweeney last week, and the topic number one of that was in fact the Centerton Road Bridge. It is an infrastructure issue it is probably the paramount infrastructure issue that we in Burlington County have right now. But this county government cannot do it by themselves. Because as Freeholder Director O'Brien said earlier, county government in New Jersey has how much, what's the percentage that we have of roads and bridges? 56%, yet we get back 12% in our transportation dollars. We need to lean on our state and federal resources to get this funding in here, because the taxpayers of Burlington County can't bear the cost of each and every one of these bridges alone. We end up getting in, there's a state bridge program, and I talked about this the last meeting, I think it was in the paper. Each county in the state gets $1 million a year to repair bridges. So $21 million a year goes out in the state of New Jersey each year to repair bridges. We get our million, we pick our bridge, we usually know our bridge about 3 or 4 years in advance. We're so good at doing it, we typically get a second million every year. But that's even becoming dicey on getting that type of money. We just can't keep up. We have the largest county in the state of New Jersey. We have more county highway than any other county in the state. I don't know if we have more bridges or culverts than any other county in the state, but we have more county highway. We need help. We do need your help to lean on our state, specifically our state resources, and they can lean on the federal resources to get things done. I put on my pulpit long enough, Director. Thank you.
That's great. Thank you very much, Freeholder Dolly. I would just want to add that we're very happy that you came out. We're very happy to hear your comments. Everything that you have to say, we're here to listen, want to hear it, want to consider it all. I do want you to know that when the engineer's report is finalized, we don't have that at this time, but when it is finalized, we will have a special presentation by the engineer. So it will be a public presentation, and we very much invite you to continue to let us know your comments and concerns, and to also come and be present at that public presentation. So thank you very much again, and with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn. Second. Motion by Freeholder Donnelly, second by Freeholder Belgard. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.